Hello, welcome back to another video. My name is Gemma and today I'm very excited because I am announcing a brand new readathon for May 2023. So, you probably would have seen from the title and the thumbnail what this readathon is loosely about, but I want to take you on a journey. Come with me on my little story of how this came about. So, probably most of you are aware of Jane Austen July, a whole month in July every year devoted to Jane Austen, which is fine, great. She's a dude. We can go with that. However, I was speaking to my good friend Scott over at Gunpowder Fiction and Plot, and we were like, well, why does she get like a whole month to herself? I mean, kudos to her, but happy endings, marriages, all that jazz. It's not really my jam. It's not Scott's either, if you're familiar with Scott's channel. And so we were like, right, we need to balance this situation. We need to balance like the happy, romantic July with something darker, something more miserable, because that's the kind of books that we like to read. And who is the first author that comes to mind when you think of soul-crushing, heart-breaking, just general devastating misery? Thomas Hardy. And so we have come up with Mysery May to celebrate Thomas Hardy and all the miserable works of fiction that are out there. So this will be running through the whole of May, and we have 6 prompts for you if you would like to read them. I mean, to be honest, you're participating if you read any book by Hardy or just miserable books in general. So, go with the flow, go with your flow. But we do have some prompts if you'd like to be involved in that way, if you're in that way inclined. So we have 3 basic prompts and 3 buzzword prompts. So let me run through them with you. Prompt number 1, pretty simple. Read a Hardy novel, any Hardy novel. There's quite a few out there. We will be doing a group read, but I'll talk about that in a minute. So just any Hardy novel you want or join in with the group read. Prompt number 2, to ease your TBRs, a short story or a poem by Hardy. Hardy was a prolific short story author and wrote plenty of poetry, so there's loads and loads to choose from. And obviously they're shorter, so it takes up less time. And then the 3rd basic prompt is just to read a devastating book of any description. And we will be, Scott and I have both got some recommendation videos coming out for you next week. I'm quite excited. It's not just me and Scott waffling on about all the heart-crushing books that we have read. So keep your eyes peeled for that next weekend. Loads of great recommendations. And then we have the buzzword prompts, and really you can interpret these any way you like. And kudos here to Scott, who came up with all of these, because Scott is very much more well versed in Hardy novels than I am. So he came up with buzzwords related to 3 Hardy books. So you could read those books by Hardy if you want to just immerse yourself in his misery for the entirety of May, or you can pick any other book that you think would fit these buzzwords. So the first one is inspired by a pair of blue eyes, and the buzzword for this is either cliffhanger or underwear. Now, I'm sure if you bob over to Scott's video, he's probably explained these a bit more. He did explain them to me, but it was about a month ago, and so I can't quite remember why this is relevant to this book. But it is, and maybe I should read it so that I understand the reference. But any way that you choose to interpret that is valid. And then we have a buzzword that is inspired by a Laodicean, and that is building or architecture. So what can you come up with for that? And then finally we have 2 on a tower, and the buzzword for this is stars or astronomy. So again, how do you want to interpret it? I am really intrigued to see how people are going to interpret these books. I mean, the spirit of the readathon, you would pick books that are potentially going to break your heart into itty-bitty pieces, but if you're not quite as masochistic as Scott and I, you could interpret those books and add a bit of joy into your May TBR. I probably won't, but for people who have more like normal sensibilities, I suppose. So those are the 6 prompts, as I said, we are going to do a group book. We are going to probably pick the most depressing book that Hardy has ever written, and that is Jude the Obscure. I haven't read this yet, so I am very excited to be crushed, emotionally destroyed. If you would like to join in with the group book, we are going to host it over on Voxer. We've got a rough schedule for you, which we'll put up on the Voxer group when everyone's hot to trot. And yeah, would love for you to join us. So if you want to join the group read, let me know. I'll add you to the Voxer. Just message me in the comments. I would also just love to know if you're joining in. If you are going to participate in this readathon and you are going to put together a TBR, then please use the hashtag Mysery May and we will try and check you out. And obviously, if you can tag us, then it'll be easier to find your content. And that, I think, is it. So I am very excited to cry for the entirety of May. Let me know what you think. And just to sort of like compound the Austen versus Hardy thing, I'll put the video that I did comparing those two authors here for you, and I will catch you all very soon with another one. Bye, guys.